my commentary on this video, Rory's going on a bit stupid in this video, and my commentary.
What's happening, everyone, and welcome to 888 Sport. It's time for another episode of the Eye Test. Today we are going to be debating, are Chelsea and Manchester City now genuine elite level big clubs? Steve-O, you don't have a dog in this fight, so I'm going to come to you first.
No, I don't have a dog in this fight, but I've got a club that has a great fan base, and in my days, that's what was a big club. Like West Ham would be considered a big club, Villa, a big club, Leeds, a big club. These are big clubs with big fans. Newcastle, a big club. I could go down to the League Two and give you big clubs.
West Ham were never that.
We was a big club, bro. When we won 1966, the World Cup.
We won the World Cup.
That's not West Ham.
I think you're right.
Maybe not West Ham, but the Leeds and the teams I mentioned. Come on, Steve.
And I wouldn't say an Aston Villa fan is wrong, for example, because they've got European history and so on. I wouldn't say they're wrong and they're passionate fans.
I think it is the history.
It depends.
It is the history. You just used a bad example.
Well, it depends who you're
asking. You just used West Ham. You made a great point, but then you ruined it with
it depends who you're asking, doesn't it? Literally, if you ask someone in America or someone in China or whatever, they'd have a different definition.
I think it's a mixture now. I'm going to say City, Chelsea, are definitely big clubs now. I don't
They
care.
are. They've
People
grown.
might tell you they're not, just to knock you down on Twitter and whatnot. I'll be honest, they're big clubs.
Even if City average most games 98% full, right? Then that's almost a sellout, right? And Rory says some untrue things about Manchester City in this video.
The only thing that matters in that aspect is does everyone around the world know who they are and do players want to play for them? And that that's true. And I can admit, as a Manchester City fan, at 35 years old, I watched City down below, we're down in the third tier of football, and it was the old Division 2 and stuff like that. I can admit that City don't have a global fan base to the extent of even Chelsea, I would say, these days, but like Liverpool and United. But once again, my opinion for me is that some teams, like Arsenal, for example, they capitalised on a period where the game was absolutely growing around the world massively, with once again the boom of Sky Sports and all that kind of stuff and everything changing, and it was United and certain teams were really good at essentially grabbing fans from all around the world. City, in my opinion, came a little bit too late, because I don't think, and this is my personal opinion, because I know, because I've looked at the analytics, so I'm at YouTube videos, I don't think glory fans exist these days as much as they did 10, 15 years ago, because everyone's chosen a side now, and everyone does actually, like, you go to a random kid, I don't know, a kid in South Africa, or a kid in Singapore, or a kid in, they've got a Premier League team, and they're going to stick with that team because of social media, and they draw the line. So I guess the point I'm making is that City will in time get there, but there's not that many fans left to grab. City are lucky right now with the money and the opportunities we've got. You'd be an absolute idiot, and I mean this, to say that anyone that has a Pep Guardiola as a manager who's just got to Champions League final, broken loads of Premier League records, has possibly definitely the best player in the Premier League, in my opinion, Kevin De Bruyne, if not top 2 or 3 in the world. If you've got all that, and you say that a team isn't a big club, that is entirely emotional. That's not.
I don't think City are a big club though. I think they're a very relevant club.
They're growing. They're certainly growing, right? And I believe they are a big club. There's lots of big clubs. So is Chelsea, right?
No, I think you can be very relevant. They're very relevant. They're going to probably win the Premier League this year. They'll probably win the European Cup in St. Petersburg.
Respect, what Rory from London thinks doesn't matter, because it genuinely doesn't.
It matters to me.
It does to you. Yeah. That's good. You care about your own feelings, and my feelings don't matter in this. What I'm saying is, Manchester City, whether we like it or not, are a super club. They are.
They're not a super club.
They are a super club, Rory. You are wrong, and very prideful.
Because Pep Guardiola manages them.
Chelsea.
Very prideful. Now, what Stephen needs to do, right, is get the records on average most seasons, the home attendance. Sometimes the cup games, the midweek cup games like the League Cup, might not be high attendance, but the Premier League home games at the Etihad are, right?
I'm not doing it.
Tell me why.
I'm not doing it on like a.
It's Man City's history.
We're just Chelsea
too
10 years
soon.
later.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. So we'll have the conversation in another decade. Maybe it changes. As you said, it's fluid.
But it doesn't change. Because every kid in the world, like you get kids now.
You don't sell out.
You
don't sell out. Man City don't sell out.
You're just being childish.
I'm not.
You are being.
Well, maybe they don't sell out, not full house, but if they have, Steven needs to get his facts of all the, right, so if the ground capacity is 55,000, whatever it is, then he needs to get the stuff ready next time for these debates. And have a list of all the who turned up, right, for the Man City Premier League home games. Then have an FA Cup one, a League Cup one, Champions League one as well, right? And then say, in this game, there were that many. Now, most of the time, Man City is 98% full, right? Okay, not a sellout, but it's still, if 98% of the seats are filled, that's fine. It's close enough to a sellout.
You're talking about your global fan base, but you can't fill your home stadium.
You've ignored all the points I've just said. Anyway.
No, you're talking about your global fan base. You're telling me how many fans you have, but you don't fill your home stadium.
No one's going to believe me anyway because you've already won the comment section because you criticised it.
No, I'm not going there from a tribal point of view.
You don't go to the City games.
I've been to the City games, and if I wanted to go, I could go because I get a ticket like that.
Does it concern you that you've got the De Bruyne's, you've got the Pep, you've got all the money, but
City are 97% full in the Premier League. I do admit, this goes back to what I was saying before. City.
Okay, 97% full. I said 98, but it doesn't matter, which is quite good though.
You haven't got a global fan base of what people would call glory hunters. If that defines a big club for you, go for it. I don't really care, if I'm being honest.
Why don't you sell out at home in Manchester then?
We do.
You don't. You're just lying. You don't.
That's not.
Well, 98% full is close enough to full house. Rory, right?
But you don't sell out. You don't. It's fact that you don't sell out.
Look, I don't have the stats sat right in front of me. But the idea that Man City is an empty stadium always is just literally.
No, the idea that you play often in front of empty seats isn't a lie.
There's not a single team in the world who doesn't have to.
You don't get a ticket. You don't get a ticket at Manchester United. You don't get a ticket at Liverpool. You don't get a ticket.
It's just like
it's true. No, I mean you keep saying it's childish. As soon as somebody disagrees with you, they're a child. As soon as somebody disagrees with you, they don't know what they're talking about.
Because it's literally not true for what it's worth.
It's true. You're not a big club. You're a relevant club.
I think he's going on with a lot of nonsense, Rory.
Me analysing it, me talking about City, I'm not doing it as a Chelsea fan. I'm just talking about City. We can explore Chelsea differently, but we can explore Chelsea in a different conversation. We can discuss our Chelsea a big club. Maybe you think not, but that doesn't. Me being a Chelsea fan has no relevance to how I feel.
What's
about
your
Man
barometer of a big club then? By the way, your stadium's a lot smaller than ours, which is definitely irrelevant.
You're talking to me every time I say something about City. You start talking to me about Chelsea. I'm talking about City
because you're a Chelsea fan, Rory. Use some common sense, Rory. My commentary.
No, it isn't. I'm not doing this as a Chelsea fan. I'm just saying that City are an irrelevance on the big scale of football. You're a very relevant team. The players you've assembled are brilliant. The manager you've got, unparalleled. The money that you've got, unreal.
It's been 10 years now.
But in terms of the global scale of football, you're completely irrelevant. You're completely irrelevant. You're below Leeds United.
Man City is actually growing. The support is growing and it will grow over time. So cut the nonsense out, Rory Jennings, or whatever your name is, mate.
City these days.
They dream of playing for the first team of Manchester City, absolutely.
And why is that if not big club relevancy?
Because you've got big players. The big clubs are obvious. Like it isn't a difficult thing to understand. The big clubs are obvious. It's Juventus, it's Real Madrid, it's Barcelona, it's Manchester United, it's Liverpool, it's Chelsea. It's obvious.
Why is it Chelsea though? Why is it Chelsea? Tell me.
Mate, when Chelsea were playing in the San Siro, when you were playing against Chesterfield, in 1999, Chelsea were playing in the San Siro in the European Cup. You were playing Chesterfield. Like, you can't compare Chelsea and City. It's very lazy. People do it. People start trying to compare Chelsea and City because they both had money invested.
Yeah, fine. Manchester City did get relegated in 95-96 out of the Premier League, and then the following season, 96-97 relegated to Division 2 at the end of that season, and then they won their way back. But 98-99, they via the playoffs, right? And so what? There's other big clubs, right, like Leeds United, are back in the Premier League, right? But they were not that long ago in League One. Rory Jenkins?
Come prepared for this.
I haven't. It's just standard. It's obvious. You're a brilliant team. You're a relevant team. But you're basically Blackburn Rovers, but you're better at football than them. You're better at football than Blackburn Rovers. But that's all you are.
I think you go around the world and ask everyone who
if they win a Champions League...
Yeah, if then it changes.
The only metric you've got
Chelsea won the
time.
Champions
It's just...
Look, they made it to the Champions League final. Chelsea won it, great. But Chelsea didn't win the Premier League last season, Rory. Right?
Before Chelsea won the Champions League, I probably wouldn't have said Chelsea were in that conversation. Chelsea have now won 2. So
ask every footballer in the world in Manchester City are a big club.
I don't think that's the point. What footballers think.
You
take the opinion of what footballers say.
From what I'm getting from this, and I've listened to, it's a great example. You two teams, what you've done, and you've done it for an extra probably 15 years. You'd say probably an extra 10 years, right? So history is what makes a big team.
Which is why I said Leeds United. Which is why I said Sheffield Wednesday.
They're in their history at the moment. You're saying,
but I agree with that. But the idea now, by the modern metrics, that Leeds are a huge club. People don't care in Brazil about Leeds. They don't. And that's not.
You keep making it an international thing,
but
it's one metric.
But it is.
No, but it's one
That's
metric.
the biggest one.
No, but in your opinion, it's one metric.
No.
You're saying, the guys in Brazil have heard of.
No,
okay, that's fine. That counts. But there's loads of things. There's loads of criteria that we can assess.
Let me ask you this then: from listening to him talk, how I speak of City, do you think they deserve more respect?
I don't ultimately care.
Because it sounds like they do. By the way.
But I care about what I think I just get annoyed by this attempt to paint City as something that they aren't, as if they're just a totally irrelevant club and all this kind of stuff. And it's just not. I mean, you can say if you want to, but ultimately City are there, and the idea that the Premier League winners of the past few years or whatever are just not a big club. It's just to me, City are a global club.
You made a point about Blackburn though.
Yeah. I'll say. It's a pride issue with Rory. I do like Rory, but I don't agree with him on this. It's a pride issue. He's prideful.
At the time,
they did that once. They did it once, Manchester City have pretty much swept up and down. Yes, it is because of money, but, not Chelsea.
And also, it's been a long time since Blackburn Rovers was in the English Premier League.
Money's absolutely money rules the world these days, unfortunately.
Chelsea, you've got to remember, Roman Abramovich bought a team that were in the Champions League. Okay. It's different. Yeah. So there we have it. This has been.
Who cares, mate? Okay, he bought Chelsea good, right? But he helped make Chelsea better. Thank you.
Fun. This has been emotional. But yeah, it's been good. So do us a favour, will you please give it a like if you've enjoyed this video? Make sure that you click subscribe. It's been a brilliant episode of the Eye Test. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Please do us a favour. Have I been too harsh on Mr. Esteemed Company, my friend Esteemed Company? Or do you agree with me? Are Leeds United and Aston Villa a bigger club, if not more relevant, than Man City?
Well, Leeds United aren't any more relevant. Look at Arsenal. They're a joke now. you're very prideful at the moment. Rory, thank you.